everything in your business revolves around one thing: how well you know your ideal customers. And I think a lot of entrepreneurs would give mental assent to this. They know that they need to know their ideal customers if they're going to do sales and marketing and product development well, if they're going to have a good operational process, if they're going to have good customer service and support, or even hire the right team members. I think most people understand you need to know your ideal customers. But most entrepreneurs struggle to understand what makes a client ideal and how do you actually find them. And so today we're going to dig into how do you find your ideal customers. Now, the exercise we're going to look at today really comes from if you already have clients you're working with. So the first thing I want to do is define what makes a customer ideal. Now, when I do this with my clients, the very easy way I describe an ideal customer is they are the clients you have already that you would want 100 more of. So if you go through your list of clients and you say, hey, I wish we could have one more of client A, that is your ideal customer. If client B is the ones that you're like, man, I want 100 more of these people and our business would run smoothly, we would get paid on time, we would have big projects, we would be able to fund everything we do, that is what you're looking for when it comes to an ideal customer. Now, we have an exercise we do with our clients that helps them to segment their clients this way, and it's called Airline Segmentation. And so what we do here is we make 3 columns. One is first class. These are going to be the clients that you look at and you say, I really wish we had 100 more of them. You're going to have economy class. These are the clients that you'll take. They'll give you money, you can solve their problem, but they're maybe not ideal. Maybe they take your lower package, or it takes them a while to actually pay you, or maybe they micromanage a little bit more than a first-class client does. These are the ones that you want on the plane. You'll take them, but you're not actually going to build your brand around them. And the last class is the band class. These are the ones that you will have security drag them off the plane if they get on. These are the clients that you have looked at and said, I will never take on another client like this. These are your band class. And it's important to have these in the exercise so that you can begin to look at the trends and understand what causes a client to fall under each one of these. So when we do this exercise, I have my clients take a list of all of their customers and we start seeing like, all right, where do you feel they fit? Maybe client A is first class. And so what we do is we say, okay, look at client A and tell us why did you put them in first class? Did they pay well? Did they do a larger project? Are they a bigger style client? Maybe they're a multi-million-dollar client instead of just a client that only makes $100,000 a year. What makes client A first class? Then maybe client B is economy class. And you're gonna say, you know, I enjoyed working with them. They have a great personality, but they took our smaller package and they didn't really implement it. They really didn't, they needed more hand holding. They didn't pay as fast as the big client did. Maybe they're the ones you have to track down every time you send an invoice because they don't pay it on time. And again, maybe client C is your band class. And you're like, I will never, ever, 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 ever again work with client C. So ask yourself why. What did they do that makes it so you would never work with them again? Jot all of those reasons down. That is going to help you to understand what makes someone a first-class customer and what makes them an economy class. Because these are the ones we want on the plane. These are the clients we want to have. These are the clients we want to avoid. So as you're doing this exercise, what you're going to do is your brand strategy is going to be built around your first-class client. Because if you build for them, you will attract your economy class. But if you build for economy class, your first-class clients are going to look at you and be like, they can't solve our problem. They only solve the problem of these smaller businesses or these businesses that don't have their crap together. So always start here. Look at your existing clients and say, which ones are ideal? Which ones do we want 100 more of? Look at those clients, lay them all out, and look for the trends among them. That is going to be your ideal customer. Now, when we do this, your customer persona should include both economy and your first class clients. Heavily focus on your first class, but you do need to understand or have a persona for your economy class, because they will be clients you will still take. And so maybe some of your content is geared towards them. Maybe some of your marketing materials or your ads are geared to them, but your brand, your messaging, everything that makes you you, that perception you want in the back of people's minds is geared towards your first class clients. Your band class, those are going to be your negative personas. These are the ones you're going to fill out, and you're going to say, if a prospective client shows any of these characteristics, we do not take them on as a client. It is easier often to see the red flags than it is to see the green. So create a negative persona for your band clients. This will help you to understand who you're trying to attract. The next step in this process is to map out the customer journey. And with a customer journey, every customer is going to go through a very specific journey to get to you. Now, most times a customer journey actually looks more like this: a giant plate of spaghetti where they start here and then they get lost in here. They start looking at your website and then they get busy, so they go to your content, and then 3 weeks later they come back to your website and then they forget about you, and a month later they see a YouTube video, and then maybe they see an ad in a magazine for you. It is not a linear process. However, there are 6 main phases or stages that a client goes through. And what you want to do is take those first class clients, those ideal clients, and ask yourself, how do they know that they have a problem? What triggers make them realize there is something that we need a solution for? Something isn't working right. Map out and understand what those problems are. Look at where do they go to find a solution. It might be most of my clients immediately say, well, they go to their internal network or their external network. They ask other people in those same roles. But when I do an interview with their ideal customers, more often than not, they say, I go to Google. That's the first step, is where I start looking. So talk to your ideal customers and understand, where do they go to find a solution? Next, you want to look at alternatives. Who are they considering other than you and other than your competitors? These would be other solutions they could put money towards to solve the same problem. So for me as a brand agency, it's not other brand agencies. I know they could go to other brand agencies, but it might be a sales trainer. They might think they have a sales problem. They might think they have a marketing problem, so they go to a marketing agency. What are other ways that they can spend that money? Then you want to look at objections. What causes them to say, I don't want this kind of solution. It's too costly. It's too involved. It requires too much work. What are the objections they have of your type of solution overall and your solution specifically? Then you want to look at the purchase decision. What do they need to see and hear in order to actually put money towards the solution? So really what you're trying to uncover here is, what is their motivation? What gets them to actually say this problem is painful enough to try to solve? And last, you want to look at advocacy. What gets them to say, this was the best experience I've ever had, and I want to tell every single person about this solution and about this business? What experience needs to happen for them to tell others about you? Once you map all this out, figure out the recommendations of, how do I take someone from problem aware to solution aware, and solution aware to alternatives, and alternatives to objections, objections to purchase, and purchase to advocacy? How do you pull them down that journey? This is how you find your ideal customers. Start with the customers you already have. If you don't have customers already, I'll cover that in another video in the future. But if you do have customers, start with this airline segmentation exercise and move into the buying journey. Once you've done those 2 things, you're going to dig through all of the insights you have and try to come up with 3 to 5 key attributes, what I call your customer DNA. What is true of all of your customers? 3 to 5 attributes of them. This is what you need to keep in mind then when you're building content, when you're creating marketing campaigns, when you are building pitch decks and everything else you do in your business. Understand the 3 to 5 key attributes of your ideal customers, of those first-class clients that you want more of. This will make your business far more successful when you do these 2 simple exercises, the airline segmentation and a buying journey, mapping out that buying journey. Do these, you will know your ideal customers more, which will drive everything else in your business.